Hey everybody. So today is, I'm going to share some of the steps that I've taken further along in my dialysis journey. Yesterday I went in outpatient and got my graft placed in my arm for my permanent dialysis access site. So as we know, I've had this chest catheter in now since towards the end of January, and chest catheters aren't meant to be a long-term access site. There's a very high risk of infection, which happened to me last month when I was in the hospital, and this one turned my blood septic, and they took it out and put it over here. So it's a very difficult access site to keep long-term without getting infections, and that's life-threatening. And long-term use is basically for people with whom a fistula and a graft are not viable. So I got my vein mapping done a few weeks ago, and it showed that my veins are just too small for fistula. A fistula is when they go into your arm and they connect one of your veins to one of your arteries to do the dialysis, taking out and replenishing the blood after they clean it in the dialyzer. A graft is when they get a vein and an artery in your arm, and if your veins are too small, like mine are, they use like a plastic tubing to connect them like that. So a fistula is typically somebody's best option. The rate of infection is lower. They tend to last longer, but that's not what I can get. So I got the graft, and the graft itself, it's a foreign material in your body, which your body's going to recognize as being foreign, especially since I've already had one transplant. So I'm on immunosuppression, so my immune system is really low. And also they tend to, and I'm not sure why, but they tend to get blood clots easier and more often, which can sometimes, I think you can get treatment and get to be worked out, but sometimes it means like a repair surgery or even having to get a different one. And I'm not going to show you guys my arm right now because it is ugly. It is gross looking. I have stitches near my elbow and stitches near my armpit. And then there's I can feel and see the tubing going from the two lines. And my arm is very swollen right now. When I look at it, I made the joke to Joel that it's like I have a Popeye muscle on my bicep, which isn't true because I don't have any muscle really, but that's how big the bulge is right now where they inserted it. And the thing that I learned this past week, that I don't know why I didn't know this before, but they typically, even if you get a transplant, they typically don't take out your access site. So I'm going to have this in my arm for the rest of my life, which I'm not happy about. And I understand the need for it and to keep it because transplants are a treatment, they're not a cure, and they don't always last the rest of your life. So if I were to get a kidney again, knock on wood, it will happen, the likelihood that it will fail before my time is up here is not a small likelihood. And if I already have the graft, then I would have instant access to start dialysis again if and when I need to. So I get it. My biggest hang up right now, and I hate admitting this, but even when this like heals and isn't as swollen, my arms are small. My arms are pretty small. So it's always going to be sticking out of my arm. Like it's not going to just be something that's hidden inside of my arm. It's always going to be visible, and it's always going to look weird. And as much as I have grown in the past, few years and really stopped worrying so much about what other people think when they see me, I also didn't have like a tube sticking out of my arm the whole time. And it's ugly. It is ugly. And sometimes it'll swell up and be like a bicep again. And I hate admitting that because it's saving my life. but it's ugly. So, I mean, there are advantages, of course, like the lower infection rate than the chest catheter. They'll start using this in about 2 weeks. Is 2 weeks to a month is about how long it takes to mature. And at that point, when they do it a couple times and they see that it works and it does what it's supposed to, then they can take this out. And I tell you what, that shower that I'm going to take for the first time without this thing, without having to cover it up with the Tagaderm, like clear tape stuff so that it doesn't get submerged in water, is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I don't need to really wrap this arm when I take a shower. It's not like an open wound like that. I mean, I'm not going to put my arm up to the shower head and like beat the water down on it either, but it's going to be so nice to be in the shower and not be worrying that I'm getting too much water on this. So that is an advantage. But something that they don't have to do with the chest cath that they do with the fistula and the graft is it's a line, and so they have to poke you with a needle each time that you get dialysis. And I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I do. That makes me nervous. I mean, the people at my clinic, they're wonderful. I really like all of the techs and all the nurses that I have there. But I think it's like a legitimate worry just to be kind of worried about how it's going to feel, and if they're going to be able to get it. And so that's something. And also, so now for the rest of my life, I can't get an IV in this arm. I can't get a blood pressure taken on this arm. I can't get blood taken from this arm. And referring back to why I have to get a graft in the first place, like my veins suck. My veins suck. So they have one arm left to get all that stuff from. There's not a lot of veins left in there. So that makes me worried. But so that's been the last couple days, and it hurts really, really bad. It hurts really bad all the time. They were able to give me some pain medicine at the hospital, so I have some pain meds I can take. I've been trying to just use extra strength Tylenol, but all day it's just been throbbing, and this is normal. Like that, it's nothing that I'm worried about, but it hurts like a son of a biscuit. Like it just hurts, and I elevate it when I'm sitting down, so that it's above my heart to help with the swelling and things like that. And I try to like stretch it out, but if I straighten my arm, it almost feels like the stitches are gonna pop. So I don't want to straighten it out. So I kind of have been walking around with like my arm at an angle. It kind of looks like it should have a sling, but it doesn't. And that's uncomfortable, but I'm hopeful that in the next few days, like that pain will start to subside. And as for dialysis itself, I've had a really hard time with dialysis. There haven't been too many sessions where I leave feeling good. Either we try to pull a little bit too much off, because they said I take fluid off, I give fluid away very easily, whatever that means. So I don't typically have to take that much off, but sometimes I get nauseous or have like a throbbing headache about half hour, 20 minutes before my time is up, and I have to be taken off because it's just terrible. And so today it had kind of built up over the weekend, and then over Monday we had to stop it early. So they had to take a little bit more than usual off today. And I was nervous about it, but my great tech, Mika, she decided to change the flow, the profile. So when they're on their little computer doing all their stuff, they put in typically like a flat line, like this, like the same speed the whole time that you're getting your dialysis done. And she had an idea to do it to where it kind of was like this instead. So she said it was like kind of like stairs. Like we'll do 1, 2, 3, stay at 3 for a little while, then go back down to 1 and do 1 for a little while, and see if that up and down of taking it out at more heavy times and then less heavy times helps, you not get sick. And thankfully, and in a surprising move, other than my arm hurting terribly, physically, like it's been the first time in a long time that I've left dialysis not feeling like crap, almost feeling pretty good. So that was encouraging. So we're gonna keep doing that. on Friday and see if it still doesn't cause any problems. And if we can get through Friday, and then Monday they'll put that in my chart to do that every time like that, which I would be so grateful if I could stop feeling terrible after dialysis, because it's supposed to help you feel better. So that's exciting. But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like this has just been a really big step I had to take. And I don't think you ever are quite ready for something like this to happen. I'm certainly kind of, I think, still in somewhat of a shocked state that like this is now my life, and this is the rest of my life. It's a big pill to swallow. I know that I'm lucky to be blessed with a good center to go for my dialysis. I'm blessed to have a good team of doctors overseeing my dialysis, and that, the people that work at the clinic they're friendly and encouraging and upbeat and enthusiastic and talented at their job. Because I've read, kind of horror stories about the experiences some people have at their clinics, and I was kind of nervous the first day that I went, but immediately I was just like enveloped into their friendly circle with the staff people there, and it's been nice, like getting to know them more and them getting to know me more. So silver linings. There have to be silver linings in things, right? So I don't know what's next. I mean, I guess next is going to be in a couple weeks when we can finally start accessing this and using it and seeing how I adjust to that life. It's when I'm sitting there in the chair for 3 hours and 15 minutes every other day, sometimes time goes by very, very slowly. And then in the overall, I'm like, how is it already April almost? Like, this year is flying by. So I guess it's all a matter of perspective. Like, situational time is different than like actual time. I don't know. I have gotten into this game on my phone that I downloaded, and because I used to really like playing Tetris. I still like playing Tetris, but the Tetris app on my phone and my iPad, it just like was all wonky and like glitching and all this stuff. So I downloaded like the next game on like the app store list, and it's called Block Puzzle, and I'm obsessed. One thing about it is it does not have a paid for version, so it's all a free version, but there are about like 5-second ads, typically 5 seconds or shorter ads between the games, which I'm not mad about it. Like, it doesn't deter me from playing it because I can put up with something for 5 seconds. It's not that big of a deal. And it's like Tetris, except the grid doesn't, like, it's not like once you get to the top of the grid, like, you lose. They stay in place, and it's just like puzzle piecing together. And I'm sure many of you know how good it feels to beat your high score. And so I've been working on doing that. But the past few times at dialysis, like, I will start playing that when they hook me up, and before I know it, like 2.5 hours have passed by, and I've been playing it the whole time, which isn't the best for like my eyes, I'm sure, but it makes time fly, and I'm fine with it. But then I also like play it at home or when I'm waiting somewhere for something, and I don't know how long this high level of interest is going to last, but it's something that makes it go by faster. I mean, before I discovered this wonderful game, I was watching shows and stuff, and those are entertaining and they pass the time, but there's a part of me that's also like not really paying attention to the shows and just kind of like looking at the clock and wondering, could this go any slower? So it's been a nice change. I mean, I know there's many activities I could do. I could bring a book. I do bring a book every time, and I have never once like actually pulled it out of my bag to read, but it's there. I mean, I could start to teach myself to knit and crochet again, because 3 hours every other day, I could make a quilt or something. Some people have suggested like coloring books or just sleeping. I find it very difficult to sleep during dialysis. Part of it's because, like with the chest cath, you have to have the two blood pipes or whatever they're called in full view the whole time, right? So like you can't really get comfortable because like you want to cover up and then they have to come and like jostle you awake and be like, no, we have to have this out. So I hadn't really taken that many naps at dialysis. Maybe someday. I don't know. I mean, I see some people that sleep the entire time, and I am amazed. I am amazed. But everybody's different. So graft, that's where we're at right now. And hopefully my next update is good news about it healing and getting the catheter removed. And hopefully it just stops hurting. So the weird thing is like something that you're supposed to look for and feel is like, they call it like a trill or a thrill. It's like you feel the blood going through the vessel. And it's like a kind of like a vibration. And it's so weird because like I can feel it and it doesn't stop. So that's another thing that I have to get used to for the rest of my life. Is this, it's faint. It's not like it's throbbing or like gushing, but I mean, it's something that's just there. And I think I'm just sitting here just looking at my sweatshirt at my arm, and it didn't really dawn on me before a little while ago, like this is part of me now. This is part of me for the rest of my life. And that's a big commitment that I can't break. So anyway, I hope that everybody is having a great day. We made it to Wednesday, so one more day until Friday. Thanks for watching.